Why don't commercial airplanes fly in a straight line? Discovering the secret science that causes the curves in the sky. Do you ever find yourself staring at the small airplane icon that is displayed on the map attached to your seat back and thinking, wait, why are we flying that way? The path winds about, curves, and even occasionally goes in the opposite direction of your target before coming back around. At first glance, it appears to be a side trip, or even worse, an error in judgment. However, when it comes to aircraft, first impressions are not always accurate. After gaining an understanding of the science behind flight planning, you will find that what appears to be longer on a map is frequently shorter, faster, and safer. The fallacy of the straight line as an illusion. Take, for instance, a typical scenario. You are traveling from Madrid to Los Angeles by airplane. When displayed on a wall map in a classroom, the shortest path appears to be the most obvious one. Go over the Atlantic Ocean in a straight line heading west, skip over New York, and continue traveling until you reach California. Isn't that easy to understand? The real flight path, on the other hand, is as follows. It climbs higher toward the north, passes through the southern part of Greenland, then glides over Canada before turning toward the west coast of the United States. A passenger can have the impression that they are taking a scenic detour across the Arctic. It is nothing more than geometry in action, or geometry on a sphere, from the perspective of a pilot and flight planner. This is the true definition of the term straight. In all honesty, the Earth is not a flat surface. It is a sphere, or more accurately, an oblate spheroid. And on a sphere, the great circle is the path that is the shortest distance between any two places on the sphere. Take into consideration the act of tightly stretching a string between two locations on a globe. This string will not follow the horizontal line that appears to be straight on a map that is projected using the Mercator projection. Instead, it curls, frequently in the direction of the poles. In reality, the path that appears to be a bend is the straightest path imaginable, which will save hundreds of kilometers. As a result of these reductions, fuel consumption is reduced, expenditures are reduced, and arrival times are frequently shortened. It is just a matter of fundamental mathematics and physics. It is not a creative pilot's whim. The reasons why great circles aren't undoubtedly perfect. Considering that the great circle is the theoretically shortest loop, you might be wondering why you should not always follow it exactly. When it comes to flight planning, the answer is that geometry is only one component. Airlines must balance efficiency, safety, compliance with rules, and real-time situations. Some of the reasons why those well-known curves frequently vary from the Great Circle are as follows. The jet stream, a friend to the tailwind, but an enemy to the headwind. High in the atmosphere, there are narrow bands of air that are called jet streams. These jet streams travel around the Earth at speeds ranging from 160 to 400 kilometers per hour. The wind is like an unseen highway, and pilots exploit it to their advantage in strategic maneuvers. Is it possible to fly from North America to Europe? In order to reduce the amount of time spent traveling and the amount of fuel consumed, pilots attempt to ride the jet stream that is heading east. Where are you going to go? The way they avoid it is like a traffic gridlock in the skies that moves very slowly. This alone has the potential to significantly alter the shape of a route. 2. Dangers posed by the weather and alternate routes. Under no circumstances would a pilot voluntarily fly into a hurricane, a thunderstorm, or a cloud of volcanic ash. Crews frequently take modest deviations to escape extreme turbulence, lightning, or hail. These detours are executed with the assistance of real-time weather radar and meteorological updates. Despite the fact that these detours may add 10 to 20 minutes to a voyage, they are necessary to protect passengers, the aircraft, and the schedule. This is because safety is always more important than speed. 3rd, airspace that is restricted. Military test grounds, politically volatile locations, and high-security installations are examples of no-go zones that civilian aircraft are not permitted to fly through anywhere in the world. Take, for instance, the fact that commercial flights completely avoid North Korea. Certain regions in the Arctic and the polar regions are also off limits due to threats to safety and difficulties in navigation. This is the reason why certain routes suddenly loop around a country or ocean region. It is not inefficiency, rather, it is a violation of international law. 4th, control of traffic systems, and sky highways. Airways are unseen flight lanes that are regulated by air traffic control. Although the sky may appear to be unoccupied, it is crisscrossed with airways. Because of the dense traffic that exists in busy places, such as Europe and the United States, flights are required to follow these lanes to ensure safe separation. There are times when this necessitates zigzagging in order to fit into the flow of traffic, similar to how a car might take a ramp that is somewhat longer in order to merge onto a congested freeway. Fifth, assignments based on altitude. When traveling in opposite directions, eastbound and westbound airplanes sometimes cruise at separate heights to avoid head-on collisions. It's possible that the perfect altitude for fuel economy won't be accessible, which will require some modest alterations to be made to the route. A worldwide airspace that is both secure and well-ordered is ensured by these seemingly insignificant adjustments. Changes in flight path during flight. An itinerary is not predetermined, even after it has been taken off. It is possible for pilots and dispatchers to make judgments in real time, depending on the latest weather updates, traffic problems, or unexpected situations. On the screen, this may appear to be a strange loop or curve. However, when you are in the cockpit, it is frequently a calculated move that is made to ensure that the ride is both smooth and safe. An explanation of the Gimli glider as a means of navigation. In 1983, Air Canada Flight 143, which was later dubbed the Gimli glider, was involved in a shocking incident that demonstrated the ability to navigate flight paths. At 12,000 meters, the Boeing 767 experienced a fatal fuel miscalculation, which resulted in the loss of all engine power. Wind patterns, gliding techniques, and precision navigation were utilized by the crew in order to complete a safe landing at a defunct airfield located in Gimli, Manitoba. Nobody on the passenger side was hurt. This incident is still taught in aviation schools as evidence that route awareness can be the deciding factor in whether or not a landing is a miracle or a disaster. The curves are not errors, but instead science. Consequently, the next time you look at your in-flight map and notice that the plane is bending in weird directions or arching toward the poles, keep in mind that this is not an act of wastefulness. Rather, it is done on purpose. The physics, meteorology, geopolitics, and human planning that go into creating each curve are all interconnected. In the air, the path that appears to be the most direct is not always a straight line, and this is precisely the reason why you arrive at your destination without incident and on time. In addition, if you would like, I can also incorporate real-world case studies of well-known routes such as New York-Tokyo or Sydney-Los Angeles in order to demonstrate precisely how much mileage and fuel the Great Circle saves in comparison to the straight map line. That would bring this closer to the level of a magazine-style article that is visually rich. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.